Welcome to the Online Course Creator Show, to episode 98, where I'm going to be sharing with you how to double your launch results with some behind the scenes sales strategies. So before I dive in, I would like to invite you to my upcoming masterclass, which is all about how to create a money-making course or program in 2025. Now, too many courses don't make any or enough money, and I want to change that. So I put together this masterclass to make sure that that doesn't happen to you. So you walk away with clarity on how to succeed with your online course in today's market so that you can make money, create more impact, get your time back, and become the go-to expert in your niche. I'd love to have you there. You can join me at loublakely.com/masterclass. And there is a couple of different options in terms of session times. So no matter where you are in the world, there is going to be a time that suits you. Now, let's dive into today's topic. So most course creators think that a launch is all about big numbers, big emails, and big ads. And, there's no shortage of seeing this online, right? And you are correct in thinking that, yes, that's what launching is all about. But especially if you have a smaller audience and you're not like an online celebrity, which, let's face it, most of you are not going to be, there are opportunities that you're overlooking if you think that all launching is like the big volume game and then not taking action on other things that you could actually be doing. Now, this is especially true if you're just getting started with scalable products and you're currently going into your first course launch or you have a very small audience. So today's episode is a definite must listen if you do have a smaller audience, but you want that first launch to be a success. And if you are starting small and you're prepared to get a bit scrappy, you can actually get really big results, but there are other ways that you can get sales beyond just what you see on the front side of your launch. So in this episode, I'm going to share with you a bunch of really tactical things that you can do in a launch that is really going to skyrocket your results. In many cases, I've actually seen these things actually double launch results. These tips, these tactics that I'm sharing with you today are also becoming more and more important in 2025 because it's all about building a deeper connection and relationship with your followers. And all of the things that I'm sharing with you will allow you to do that. And what I mean by, this is important in 2025, in a certain period online where people need to trust you more, and building relationships absolutely needs to be part of your strategy. Like it's not I'm just going to post and no one's got any access to me. It's actually about building relationships just as much as it is about the volume marketing. So let's dive into some tactics on how to actually double your launch results. Now, the first one is personal invitations. I actually like to call this shoulder tapping. So you're literally, you're looking at who you know and you are identifying who your program is actually a really great fit for of those people that are already in your world. And you're literally tapping them on the shoulder and being like, hey, I've got this thing. It's suited to you like so well. And I'd like to invite you to join. I actually recommend doing this before you go into your launch. And the reason is that it takes a little bit of time to thoughtfully look at who you know, who's in your world, and come up with a plan of how you're going to start the conversation with them. And often these people are actually people that you're already in a conversation with or you have been in a conversation with in the past. So it's not hard to pull this off at all. But the reason why I love to do it before the launch is because quite often during a launch you may not have time and you may forget about this because you're busy doing other things. But also it means that you can go into your launch and have seats sold in your program already, which is such an amazing feeling. And it really helps for you, it helps your mindset, right? Like you're going into the launch and you know that people have already brought, like there is no greater feeling than that. So these people that you are tapping on the shoulder, they might be past clients who you know could benefit from this program in some way. Maybe the work that you have done with them in the past is slightly different. Maybe it was done for you, but you know that they would really benefit from learning how to do it themselves. Maybe that they now have built a team and they need their staff to be trained up on whatever it is that you're teaching, right? There's so many different scenarios where a past client may actually benefit from your online course or program. Now, they could also be leads in the past that you have had a conversation with at some point. So these people may have reached out to you and been interested in working with you, but for whatever reason, it wasn't a great fit. However, this new program or course could actually be a great fit for them. And you'll likely know that based on how that conversation went. So you can look through your emails and your DMs for the last maybe like 6 months and actually look at who you've spoken to and think, would that person benefit from this? And then you could reach out and tap them on the shoulder, so to speak. Now, when it comes to this, especially if you're doing this prior to the launch actually happening, you can definitely offer them an incentive, such as a slightly lower price or an additional bonus to get them on board to sweeten the deal. And obviously, they don't have to go through the entire funnel, your launch funnel. So it just is based off a conversation. So giving them an incentive to get on board can really help them make the decision. And I highly recommend to put an end date on that. So they need to sign up by X date in order to get that deal. Now, I don't want you to take this as just connect with every single person you've ever spoken to in your business for the last 5 years. Absolutely not. I want you to think very carefully about this and make sure that it genuinely is a good fit for this person before you reach out. And you have to 100% believe that and know that to be true in order for this to really work. Because if you're just shoulder tapping people and saying, hey, you need my offer, no, it's not going to work. And actually, some people need to go into your launch funnel. But when I'm talking about these people, like the relationship is already there in some sense. And it's just like, hey, I've got this thing. It would work really well for you. I'd love for you to come and join. If you join by this date, then you also get these things that I'd love to have you on board. Now, they may or may not take you up on that, but usually if they can see that it's a good fit, they will. So like you can see how that could instantly really increase the sales. And these people may not be watching you online. They may not be seeing that you're actually launching. So they may not have even seen your launch anyway. And this is a really great strategy if you don't have a large audience. And if you are someone who has like no audience at all, then you need to use this strategy. And it's perfect if you have been in business for a while, you've been providing services or working one-on-one with people, because it's very likely there is this pool of people already in your world who would be perfect for your first launch of your program. So definitely write that down and use that in your next launch. The second tactic that I'm sharing with you is to build a deeper rapport with people who sign up to your launch event. So I want you to also go at this one from that idea of this has to be genuine, right? We're not spamming people. We're not like sending out blanket messages to people, because this isn't really about making sales, it's about serving, okay? And the intention of it is to simply build a deeper relationship with the people who signed up to your launch event than what you currently have now. So if you're collecting Instagram handles when people sign up to your launch event, which I highly recommend, and it may not be an Instagram handle for you, it could be their LinkedIn profile, or it could even be a phone number for some of you. I don't know what your business model is specifically and what you normally do in business or what your platform is, but what information are you collecting on that form beyond an email address? So you can add that for sure. If you don't, you can also do this via email. But you can actually reach out to them after the event and simply ask them how they found it. Like, did they have any questions? How do they feel after watching it? And, just start the conversation. You're not going to reach out to them and be like, hey, Moneymakers is open. Are you jumping in or what? Like, we're not going about it from that viewpoint. We are simply asking them, how did they enjoy the launch event? Do they have any questions? And also, you're kind of gathering feedback from this, right? It's a great way to just get a conversation started. And again, you need to go at this with a viewpoint like, I'm not here to make sales, but I'm here to build a connection. Because even if they don't buy in this round, they may buy later. And you need to unattach yourself from getting people to convert. It's a real bro marketing way of doing things, and we're not about that. It is actually just really about building that relationship at this point. So when you're sending them a message, it could actually be more personalized. Maybe it could be that you saw them on the masterclass and maybe they asked a really great question. And you could say, hey, I really love that question that you asked on the masterclass. I hope my answer gave you everything that you needed. If not, let me know. Simple, okay? And I do recommend doing this relationship building after the masterclass. So that way they've already experienced your teaching and your energy. And at this point, they know you and you're simply deepening the relationship. You're not selling. But the key here is to keep it really genuine. You could also do this via email or wherever you're connected with them. So it doesn't need to be some information that you collect. Like, it doesn't have to be their Instagram handle and then you send them a direct message on there. It could be that you're just collecting their email address and then you're reaching out to them via email. The issue with emails, sometimes we do tend to get lost in their inbox. However, if that's all you've got to work with, then you can absolutely do that as well. And if you are doing it by email, you could absolutely send personalized videos to people to just put a face to your name, like share a personal message directly to them, face to camera, and send it across to them. Like, you could do this on Loom and just share the link with them. Or there are other video software tools that actually specialize in these kind of videos. Now, you may be thinking, there's no way I can do this. I have hundreds of people signed up to my free launch event. And if that's you, then honestly, you probably are past the point of actually needing to do this. But if you are starting small and you're prepared to get scrappy, then this can really change the game for your launch. You can, by all means, do this with a much bigger launch as well. However, you're probably going to need some help to get it done. Now, another thing that you can add into a launch to help people make the decision and actually jump off the fence is to offer a chance to jump on a call with you to answer any or to ask any questions. And then obviously you're right there to answer them face to face and making it really personalized to them. Sometimes, or often actually, people will just have a few questions that they need answered in order for them to be able to make that right decision for them. But not everyone is actually going to direct message you these or actually feel comfortable asking you in a public forum. So they may not want to leave a comment on your post. They may not want to actually ask live in your live launch event. They actually want to ask the question without anyone else hearing what it is. And often these questions are like, they know the program, but they just have a specific question related to their specific case. So I do recommend, especially right now, to offer 15 to 30 minute calls, particularly towards the end of your launch, for people to get their questions answered so that they can actually book in a time and ask the questions, and you can give them the answer that they need, and then they can make the decision or not. So I do recommend to keep these pretty short so that people are showing up and it's straight into the questions. So I would say 10 to 20 minutes for each call. If you are doing it towards the end of the launch, I would say if you had an open cart period of 7 days, I would actually set this up so that they can book on a call for the second half of the open cart period, so the last maybe 3 days, because you are going to be speaking to people who are more on the fence and they actually need this as a way to get off. You don't really want to offer it right at the start of open cart because there are going to be people who are just like, I'm in, I don't need that call. And then if you then offer it, they might jump on the call when they don't really need it. And then all of a sudden you've got this extra layer that didn't need to be there. But the second half is ideal. I also would only recommend this for a program that is worth $500 or more. I wouldn't be offering it for anything lower than $500. But when it comes to a signature online course program, potentially priced at over $1,000, then yes, this is a really good option to add in just for those people who do need that extra reassurance and they just want to talk to you and actually connect with you and know that you've got their best interests in mind, because often that's all that people need to know. You can also automate this in the sense that with email marketing software, you can track how many times someone views your sales page, for example. And once they've looked at your sales page, say 3 times, you could set it up so that then they get sent an email saying, hey, I've noticed that you've been checking out the sales page for my program. If you've got any questions, I'm here to help, and jump on a call with me, book on a call here and I can help you. So we're kind of like automating the process to the point of the call at that point. So we're reaching out to those people who have noticed looking at our page multiple times, getting in front of them saying, hey, here's an option. And that could just be the thing that helps those people that their behavior is showing that they are interested. This also means that you don't need to sit there and look at who's looking at the page, okay? So hopefully one of these 3 things is something that you can add to your first launch. And, they are all a little bit scrappy. And I think that's something that we do not need to shy away from. Yes, how amazing is it that we can do like evergreen, fully automated launches? But if you're starting out and you just have no audience, or you have a small audience, then adding these things in can double the results. I have seen it happen time and time again, and I do recommend them for many, many people. 1 or 2 of these may not apply to you, and that's okay. However, I recommend that you think, how can I really build relationships? Because that is what it comes down to. And sometimes we think that we are just going to show up and share on social media and people know us, but actually people do really value taking the relationship a little bit deeper before they spend money. And that's not a bad thing. And you being able to cater to those people is going to definitely help increase your sales and your results in your next launch. So I hope you enjoyed that. I also hope that you have signed up to the upcoming masterclass. It is coming very soon. So head over to loublakely.com/masterclass, and I would love to see you there. Thanks for listening, and hopefully I'll see you on the next episode. Bye. Thanks, course creators and go-getters. You're incredible, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit subscribe in your podcast app so you don't miss an episode. If you'd like to find out more about what I offer, head across to loublakely.com. See you next time.